This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you live downtown Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot. Happy Thanksgiving week continues here. Feast week in college basketball. Great guest today on the program, Paul Charchian, Fantasy Football Hall of Famer. In 30 minutes, he'll join us for a half an hour. Sal Paolantonio on the show. The timing could not be any better with him because there is news with Devontae Smith and with that team in general that will run by him. Lorraine Moss, my wife of 15 years, believe it or not, on the show. In studio coming up a little bit later on.
Against all odds.
And no kidding. Jimmy Vaccaro gave me 18 months.
Yeah. Hey,
so
kid.
She's going to give you last-minute Thanksgiving ideas. And she's still alive in Circa Survivor. Mike Palm on the show, and Chris Felica, college football as well. Paulie, here's the news in the NFL. Another DNP today for Eagles wide receiver Devontae Smith. Shoulder issue, chest issue, and an illness. And by the way, he's not the only guy. Saquon Barkley, limited in practice. Reed Blankenship, limited in practice. Landon Dickerson, same exact thing. Lane Johnson did not practice. He's a monster deal. I'll have numbers on that coming up here in a second. Here at Circa, Eagles still hanging tight, 7-point favorite. Other books have moved to 6.5 here. What is your level of concern right now with Philadelphia?
It's high, especially with the offense, how bad they've been. And you're coming off a horrible loss and what Lane Johnson means to that team. And now if you're down Smith, we know about the troubled relationship between Hurts and A.J. Brown. What a day. You're walking into this. Survivor starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
For real now. We're down to 900. And then Ragnow unretires to join the Lions. So they get a big shot in the arm with their O-line, which was totally unexpected.
Yep.
And apparently he's in shape and ready to roll. So between all this news, it's wild. And Chiefs up to 3.5 in some spots too, especially at DraftKings. But it's got to be high with the level of concern that what we've seen all year offensively, and you can't get Barkley going. I mean, it's horrendous what happened in Dallas with the rushing attack and also the silly turnovers blowing the big lead.
Yeah, so I think losing Devontae Smith, if he were unavailable in this game coming up 2 days from now, by the way, that's a pretty big blow. But the biggest guy right now on that injury list that we just talked about, I think probably would be Lane Johnson. Here are the numbers overall. In the past decade, Philadelphia is 96-41-1 when Lane Johnson starts. When he doesn't, they are 12-24 straight up. Since 2013, including the playoffs, they're basically 60 games over 500 when he plays, and when he does not, they are 15-25 straight up. Now, again, you kick around, well, an offensive lineman, he's probably not going to be worth anything to the point spread. Well, this guy's been a big deal with the team. I'm not going to tell you that you got to move the number down to 4 because he didn't practice today and he might not go in the game. I'm not going to get that crazy, but I'm just going to tell you, put it this way. There is not a single team here at Circa and in their Survivor contest, because, again, Thursday and Friday, it's its own separate week. There's not a single team that you can feel comfortable with hitting submit with right now. Chiefs, I'm not comfortable with that.
Yep.
Ravens tomorrow night, not exactly super comfortable with that.
Well,
and the Lions-Packers game, forget about it.
Yep, that's right. If you asked me last year, I wouldn't have a high level of concern, just how good they were on offense. But this year, everything going wrong as we rip the offensive coordinator every single week, and rightfully so. How does Barkley have 680 yards rushing? It's after what he did last year. And he's had one game with 90 yards plus.
Can't get him going.
Yeah, we're almost in December. So a great slate of games. Black Friday, enormous, and a great way to start tomorrow. And you're right, I do lean Packers. The great news that the Lions received this morning, but these incredible numbers from Evan Abrams on all these games. Number one, I think we all agree the middle game's going to set a record for the most watched football game, non-Super Bowl ever. You might get 50 million people for the Kansas City-Dallas game. But these numbers where the road favorites, the numbers on Dallas and the Lions got the win last year against Chicago with help from all that horrible clock management. Prior to that, they had lost 7 in a row. And all those years that Detroit was down, Dallas was good. But they still, you got to go back how long when they both covered? 24 years where they both have covered straight up an ATS on Thanksgiving. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because you think they have such an advantage here. You're at home. It's a short week. You've been good. Cowboys on and off. But it hasn't been the case. And these teams struggle to win every single year on Thanksgiving.
Here are the numbers. Lions and Cowboys, you're exactly right, have not gone a combined 2-0 ATS on Thanksgiving since 2001. And they haven't both gone 2-0 straight up and ATS on Thanksgiving since 1994. You have that angle. There are also some really good numbers here on Matt LaFleur as the head coach here with the Green Bay Packers. First of all, it's Green Bay's first game this year as an underdog.
How about that?
Yeah, and first one since they took on and lost to the Eagles last year in the playoffs. But under LaFleur, Green Bay is 18-6-1 ATS as an underdog of 3 points or more. Well, 2.5 now. Most spots here, Circa still 3. And 14-4 ATS is a dog of more than 3 points. So only head coach Super Bowl era with a winning record as an underdog. That's remarkable. And since 2005, the public has faded the Lions ATS 12 times on Thanksgiving Day, meaning they're a majority of the bets. They have the majority of the bets. And by the way, Steve McKinnon does a great job tracking all that every week at VSiN.com. Detroit 0-12 straight up in those games when they have the action based on the public and where they're putting their money. That's absolutely insane. They're also off an overtime game, as are the Chiefs. And this is not exactly gone well for teams in this spot.
It's not. I thought it'd be worse. It's not that bad. I thought it'd be catastrophic. These horrible spots and how bad you've been. Short week on the road coming off overtime. It's not that bad.
I have so many numbers that I actually lost them. I thought they were pretty bad for the Chiefs spot. No.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is we got the 24-1 thing back in the Chiefs here though too with the road favorite, and can Dallas put together a couple strong games in a row? The thing that got me is Mahomes is the number one quarterback against zone defense, and Dallas plays the second most zone defense, 72% of the time. So I do think he'll carve them up. The receiving props are fascinating because Kelsey's plus 115. But what do you think it takes to cash that ticket? Do you think 50 yards might do it for most receiving yards tomorrow? And I think that's going to be Kelsey. I want to make the case for Andrews because Cincinnati's so bad, but it might be a little bit of likely, or maybe they just gash him on the ground as Cincinnati's defense is horrible. So I think Kelsey over and Kelsey most yards for a tight end tomorrow. And I've landed on the Chiefs in this game. And then we could have wind in the Baltimore game and the Philadelphia game, which I would look at longest made field goal under them in those two games if it's going to be 30 miles an hour.
Elliott missed a 56-yarder last Sunday against the Cowboys in a dome stadium. Mm-hmm. It's a long one.
Well, you're not trying that, though, if it's especially that
I don't think so.
But we saw the Sunday night game. You can't kick to that one end of the goalpost if it's going to be especially 35-mile-per-hour winds.
Expand on that, by the way. Mm-hmm. You said that you just you landed on the Chiefs in this game. Tell me why.
Mahomes carves up zone defense, and that's what Dallas likes to play. And I think he'll have a big game through the air. They get the shot in the arm with Pacheco back. But you can't really run against this Dallas defense since they made the trades and got healthy. So I think it's going to be aerial assault through the air and do his damage, and the Chiefs will emerge victorious. Smith is down, so they lose a key lineman. That could be problematic. But I just think this defense is so good, the history and the numbers against Spags that he has against Dak. And I see the Chiefs getting a win, and I love what their defense did in the second half against the Colts. Maybe the Dak implosion happens. I've been sitting on that for a while, too. Hasn't happened.
He's playing great football.
I know, but usually in a big game, he's due for a couple picks.
All right.
So I'm sitting on a Dak implosion as well.
So the over for Cowboys games on Thanksgiving has been really good lately as well. 5 straight games, they've gone over. You do have this with Mahomes, by the way. So he's played 4 games in his career, either on a Wednesday, Thursday, or a Saturday on the road. 4-0 straight up and ATS, covering by 12.6 points per game and scoring 29 points or more in all 4 of those games. The Opta AI stats, vsin.com/NFL props, they are super high on Mahomes in this game. In fact, they're projecting him for nearly 300 yards. I saw this offshore prop for the weekend. This is for the Thursday games only. The over-under for most passing yards by any quarterback tomorrow is 320.5. Will anybody get to 321 yards? If this game turns into a shootout, obviously that's both guys I think would be capable of doing that. But the Opta AI stats have Prescott actually staying under 256.5 with the yards there. Kelsey, boy, again, who would be surprised here? But his prop is 57.5 now, and they're projecting him for almost 70 yards in the game.
Mm-hmm. You could be Burrow if they're getting blown out.
Yeah.
And I think anything's possible in the first game. Does Goff have time to throw? Is he under pressure? Does he panic? Does he turn it over? Or are they involved in a high-scoring game? I could see 20-17. I could see 34-31 in that game.
You're right. I could see alt totals coming in both directions there.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a good example for me to stay away from it then.
You get Jacobs back, and Golden could play as well. I think it's a big Watson game, though, as Detroit's allowed the 9th most fantasy yards to fantasy points to wide receivers. His number has jumped up. I know Charge will make the case for one of his props coming up, but I think Watson has a big game for the Packers.
He's kind of turning into the go-to guy, isn't he?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then 33-yard field goal, both teams in the Kansas City game, which is $1.40. You can maybe play it in the late game, too, but check the weather, because we could have some wind in that late game.
Now, how about this? The Opta AI stats, again, at the website, they're projecting Lamar Jackson to go over his rushing yards prop at 25.5.
Can't do it.
I kicked that around earlier today.
Yeah.
With several people, and they said, hurt or not, that has to be the lowest mark he's ever had for a rushing yard prop in his career.
Mm-hmm.
But is he going to take off?
I don't think so. Too many injuries.
Watch.
The Jets game, he wouldn't do it. It's right there for
He'll
him.
turn into Baker Mayfield 2 weeks ago.
I would say that.
When he wasn't running, then all of a sudden, oh, here it is, taking off every single time he drops back to pass. Win-lose up next. And we might not like it, but we got an answer, which, based on their history, could easily change very soon.
If you're serious about football betting, VSiN's got your weekend game plan. Fridays at 7 p.m., it's the Circa Friday Football Invitational. Saturday morning, VSiN's college football tailgate show at 9 a.m., breaking down matchups, props, and big-time bets. Later that night, join the football contest show as the sharpest betting minds give you their picks for Sunday's game. And Sunday at 9 a.m., lock in with Mitch and Pauly on VSiN's Pro Football Tailgate Show. Your final stop before kickoff. Check out the full lineup at VSiN.com and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
Hi, everybody. Jensen Lewis here, co-host of VSiN By the Books. Tune in tomorrow as Mark Malusis and I will break down all three of the Thanksgiving Day games and continue looking ahead to the rest of Week 13 in the NFL. We're, of course, joined, as we are every Thursday, by Greg Hoops Peterson and the maestro Mike Palm. Might even have a certain Cowboys fan popping on the show as well. It's VSiN By the Books, a Thanksgiving Day edition, 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All three games go over last night in the NBA, and we start with a shocker. The Wizards had one win on the season. They were at home against Atlanta, and they were up 20 right away. And they never were threatened and cruised as McCollum had 46 points, and they ran him out 4-1 on the money line.
The first score I saw in the game was 45-18 Wiz first quarter.
Yeah. Oh.
And I actually came, when the Hawks started to come back a little bit, I took some of them at like plus 170 to win the game outright. And as soon as I bet it, they got outscored by about 20 points again.
Yeah, 132-113. Then we had the middle game. Orlando from 1 up to 5. It was 86-60 at halftime. 144-103. Suggs got tossed. Black comes in. Black had 27 in the first half.
Again, that was an NBA Cup game. They play in the same group as the Pistons. They start in 45 minutes against the Celtics. Point differential matters here. They're in the same group.
Big one. And the Pistons going for the franchise record for longest winning streak.
Right, so if they have a chance to put it on Boston, won't they?
Yes.
To kind of catch up with Orlando, although they play each other in the group. But that's going to come down to like tiebreakers and everything.
Yeah, great angle. Cal plus 250 on a money line. Oral Roberts 3-1. Samford, Georgia State under 152 down to 146, 78-63. Everyone should have won in the late game at the Maction. Western Michigan 6.5 up to 10.5. It fell 10. Western Michigan goes on to the championship game. Subscribe, be part of the team. VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. We'll put you on. Thanks to everyone who's doing an excellent job. I'm going to blow your mind. Mitch is going to be stunned. Jordan Scott had a friend of a friend in town, Mama's Pizza, last week for F1. He goes, let me go over to Aria and try a little high-limit video poker. He's playing $50 denomination, $250 a push, and gets dealt fours and a kicker for $120,000. This is all in a span of a couple days. So, nice feeling. Dancing on the ceiling, you're up $120,000. Let me continue to play and move over. Royale with cheese, $25 denomination. That's $100,000. Let me move over again, up my denomination, and right in the middle, give it to me. Peekaboo in the middle, hard to see. Royale with cheese, $200,000. This is all the same person, and there are the picks to prove it. This doesn't happen in a lifetime, and the guy did it in a span of a couple days.
Wait, so it's cut off at the bottom. Is that a $100 denomination then?
I think that's,
that's
I think
50,
it's
right? If it's 200,000, okay.
Yeah. $200,000 Royal, $100,000 Royal, fours and a kicker dealt $120,000. All at Aria. Oh, come on. Unbelievable. Also met Andrew before the show. Watches every day. He does a survivor pool with his friends back in the East Coast. It's a kicker only. It's all kickers. You got to pick. You take your guy, one guy. You only get, just like Survivor, one team, one guy. And if he makes a field goal, you move on. If he doesn't, you're out. And it's there's only 8 people left. You started with 70.
Very creative.
Yeah, never heard of that before. You showed this excellent. Good job. Kicker, Survivor. How about the pit bull here? Asking for help?
You have your pillows.
Wants the heating pad.
Your heating pad. Okay, here, look. Heating pad.
On.
I'll turn the timer up.
Okay.
And the heat down.
Good.
Is this what you want?
Yeah, okay, thank you. right back in now. How smart is this guy? I'd like the heating pad, please. Crying for it, then it goes on, and then nap time goes in. That is excellent. Well done. Well played. Nice job, my friend. Lose some. Indiana over 157 up to 164, 86-69. And thanks to keep sending those videos in. We're going to put a couple people on Friday that their dogs watch every single time with win-lose, and they get excited. Before the line moves, Sharp Play's already there. They don't just follow the market, they help move it. You're not going to outsmart billion-dollar books or full-time sharps on your own. Advanced AI, up 50 units with the place. Great sources, active across all sports. Been with us since day one, and Jeff and the crew been at it since 2011. Stay ahead of the line, trusted by pros, watched by the book. SharpPlays.com. Chris Felica later in the show. I think we're going to break him. I think he officially lost his mind last night with the committee. And again, as you said yesterday, it's an invitational, no set criteria, and the stuff they say after the ratings come out make them look 10 times worse when they have to explain what they're up to. And some of the stuff that transpired yesterday Look at the committee chair's doing the 6-7 stuff. With with the kids, what they're doing with the Texas Tech question. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Do you enjoy your life more for watching this show?
I'd like to get riled up, but I also just like to see how they're backed into a corner and they know what they're doing's wrong, and they're trying to explain their way out of it and have it make sense when there's no way it can make sense. I'm not going to go as far as Ari Wasserman, who does a great job with Andy Staples, but he's called it the biggest injustice the committee's ever done, what they're doing to Miami. So finally they said they're close enough now where we're going to evaluate head-to-head, and head-to-head's going to come into play. So Miami beat them head-to-head. They have a better resume and better wins, but they think Notre Dame is the better team, so Notre Dame's going to stay ahead of them. And now because of metrics and eye test and this
right.
kind of business.
The advanced numbers, the metrics, they mean more than actual head-to-head. They also were asked about, Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin possibly leaving, and they said that it would not be like Jordan Travis, the injury there with Florida State, because they would not have had a chance to watch Ole Miss play a game without him. Florida State's offense wasn't exactly humming, but they won 2 games when Travis got hurt, and they still said, no, undefeated, you're not good enough to be in.
Yeah. Plus the backup was coming back.
It's so outrageous. And oh, by the way, here is my theory on what the sport is doing to themselves, and they don't even realize it yet. This could create a situation where teams revolt, and instead of scheduling tough non-conference games in the month of September, they all say there's no point. We're going to put nothing but cupcakes on our schedule. I'm never going to play a team from a power conference that's any good ever again. And they don't realize under that scenario, because Miami would be able to scream it from the mountaintops and other programs could listen. Under that scenario, they can't have their wish of promoting these nonsensical ratings in September when you get number 1 versus number 4 and number 3 versus number 7. Tune in to CBS coming up at 3:30 Eastern time. And what happens when you don't have marquee non-conference matchups for the first month in college football? Ratings go way down. And as a result, the sport suffers, and then eventually you're not going to get as much money from advertisers, and they don't even realize that this would be, in a dream world, the wheel should be in motion for this to happen already. I don't know if it ever will, but if I'm a Power 5 program Power 4, like Miami, and they don't get in based on what they're saying right now, I never schedule, at least in the short term, another team of significance again.
There are 2 other things here as well. Why doesn't the conference just do what they want? If Miami is ranked 12th and they're the best team in the ACC, they won't even play in the ACC title game. And it goes back to what you've been saying. This is so silly with super conferences because you don't know who the best teams are in each league because it's the luck of the draw with the schedule.
Of course it is.
It's absolutely ridiculous that you went to 16 or 18 teams in a league, and who knows who you're going to play. You just is Mississippi good this year? Do I get them at home? Do I have to go to Alabama? Do I miss Alabama and Georgia? It's absolutely ridiculous.
People are making the case Virginia would be the example this year because of how many teams they avoided.
That's right. Virginia
in the
got
ACC.
lucky. Yeah, and Indiana last year.
Of course, yes.
Right. Yeah, and here was the money quote from the committee chair after he was doing the 6-7 joke. Do you see Texas Tech as being closer to cracking the top 4 or closer to teams 6 and 7? Answer, I'd say at 5 they're close to 4 and very close to 6. Okay.
It's getting, again, this new chairman who came in 2 weeks ago, it's gotten worse with him already.
Yes.
And now they're mocking people on TV. Again, I don't even know why it's a TV show. Yeah. I wish the entire country would say, we would join hands and say, we're not watching it anymore. It's worthless. It's a total disservice to everybody involved.
Yeah. And then you start the show with Booger McFarland saying, okay, now the committee gets something to compare because Miami goes to Pitt and Notre Dame buried them, so we can compare that now and use that with. They played a game, Miami.
Yeah,
won.
they actually played.
Yeah. How about that, Booger?
But the same 2 teams were on the field this regular season, and they played it out.
Let's see what happens against Pitt.
So here's why I don't watch it, because, again, it's I hate it, and there's no point to it. I was getting texts last night from people who they told me, I want to break things in my house right now.
Because of the explanations.
Because of all of this stuff that we talked about. And
You're right.
I'm not going to name names, but somebody said what Heather Dinich said about Notre Dame evidently was so preposterous that he was losing his mind at home watching.
Which was?
she just kept going on and on and on about how it's more impressive than Miami.
Yes.
I just told him, I'm like, don't watch. She goes, this is my first time watching the entire year, volume up, and my head is in.
Exactly right.
It's in a vice grip right now.
Miami has better wins and a better resume, and they won the head-to-head. And I said it right when the ratings came out the first time. I go, how can Notre Dame be 10 and Miami's 18? Oh, by the way, SMU is ranked. So you can't say, well, bad loss with that anymore either. They'll probably make the ACC title game.
Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian on the program coming up next. The situation is so bad that I think benching one of the best players in football is the right move. Does Charch agree? We'll ask him next.
This Black Friday, VSiN's hooking you up with our biggest deal of the year. Just $60 for full VSiN Pro access through May 1st. That's 6 months of nonstop action from the heart of the NFL season and college bowl games through the Super Bowl, March Mania, the Masters, and the NBA playoffs. Get every VSiN Pro article, betting tool, AI projection, and expert pick, all for just $60. Don't wait. This offer's only for a limited time. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to VSiN.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
A lot of football here. Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday stuff, Week 13 overall. Fantasy football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian makes his weekly appearance here. One day early, obviously, because of the holiday tomorrow, and he joins us on the Progressive guest line. Charch, happy Thanksgiving, pal. Good to see you again. How are you?
Good to see you, too. We're debating the merits of doing the deep fried turkey because everybody loves the deep fried turkey. Have you guys ever tried that?
It lived up to the hype. Yes.
It's good. The problem with the deep fried turkey that I've done it one time, the problem I ended up with is you got to use like 5 gallons of the the grease shortening, whatever, right? And 5 gallons of that. Then what do you do with that? And we made it. It tasted pretty good, but then I got this bucket of grease, and I'm like, okay, what do I do with the bucket of grease? And I'm going to say this now, and I probably shouldn't admit it, but I believe I believe now it's been an appropriate number of years where I can't actually be prosecuted for it.
Oh boy,
I couldn't figure out what to do with this grease. I got all this grease. It's hot. I poured it down the city drain, the grate outside.
I was going to say, did you dump it down like the street? Is that what you did? Yeah,
I did. I put it down the grate. Yep.
Honestly,
I don't feel good about that. I needed to get this off my chest years later.
Good job. All right.
Yeah.
Every man for himself.
Nothing bad came as a result. The pipes weren't destroyed.
No, but
like
I was nervous about. I was nervous about the neighbors calling the cops, so I waited until it went after dark. And,
very slick,
so
this guy.
I did it then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
strong.
Thank you. Yeah, very shady.
All right. Let's begin here. In one of my several fantasy football leagues, having a good year. I think I'm the highest scoring team in this particular league. That team also has Justin Jefferson. I got to tell you, I don't think I can play him at this point this week, or maybe even for the rest of the year. Your thoughts overall on him and the entire situation going on with the Vikings?
All right, so let's start with McCarthy because this is really a McCarthy conversation for starters. What a disaster this has turned out to be. And I'm a Vikings fan. The frustrating things through 6 starts is he's not improving. Remember, J.J. McCarthy was the offensive player of the week in week 1 and has slowly gotten worse, regressing. He has not shown NFL traits. So you look at other slow starters that have turned out well, like Josh Allen. They had early obvious traits that you went, aha, if we can expand on that, like Josh Allen, the downfield arm, the velocity on his throws. There were a lot of things you go, okay, we got a lot to fix with Josh Allen, but if it all comes together, there are these NFL caliber traits that Josh Allen's got. We don't see those with J.J. McCarthy, despite the fact that he is surrounded by the same players and coaches that were fantastic with Sam Darnold last year. And so it's not so much surrounding talent as it is just really on J.J. McCarthy. So we're 6 starts in on McCarthy. He is statistically neck and neck with Jamarcus Russell for the worst start to a career for a first-round quarterback ever. Russell actually better than McCarthy in yards, passer rating, sacks absorbed, and he's got half as many interceptions as J.J. McCarthy. He is on a Jamarcus Russell level tangent through 6 games.
Unbelievable. You can't.
It is unbelievable. So, where does that leave us? We've got rookie undrafted quarterback Max Brosmer, Minnesota Golden Gopher via New Hampshire, is your starter for the Vikings against Seattle. Seattle is obviously a great defense. And for Justin Jefferson specifically, Mitch, over the last 5 weeks, Seattle allowing the fewest fantasy points to wide receivers. In the last month of play against Seattle, only Puka Nacua has topped 44 yards. And even Puka Nacua got held to a scoreless 75 yards. Devontae Adams, 1 catch. Marvin Harrison, 3 catches. This is a great Seattle defense, and Max Brosmer, undrafted rookie, has got to try to go against him to get the ball to Justin Jefferson. And even if he sends a lot of balls to Jefferson's way, which I would do if I were Max Brosmer, it doesn't mean they're good throws. So, or downfield throws. At this point, I have Justin Jefferson as wide receiver 30. So you may very well have better options than Justin Jefferson. It's come to this in Minnesota.
Yep, it has come to this. That's incredible. Great numbers as always. So what do we do now with Harrison likely coming back and what Michael Wilson's done the last two games?
Yeah, Michael Wilson's amazing. What a great story this has turned out to be. So Harrison gets the appendicitis attack. He's out for 2 games. Here's what Michael Wilson's done. This is the Arizona Cardinals wide receiver. 2 game totals. 33 targets, 25 catches, 303 yards. I mean, needless to say, this blows away anything Michael Wilson had ever done before, but it also blows away any 2-game total of Marvin Harrison's career. Heck, Marvin Harrison had never posted back-to-back 100-yard games. In fact, he's only ever had 2 100-yard games in his entire career. And here's Michael Wilson with 2 of them back-to-back. It's not just volume. I mean, Wilson looks good. He's got a big body. He's got some moves. Yesterday, offensive coordinator Drew Petzing said, we've got to elevate Wilson in the progression reads, even after Marvin Harrison returns, which he might this week. So it looks to me like Arizona's going to continue to throw Jacoby Brissett's arm out of socket. I mean, that's their whole offense right now, is all passing with Jacoby Brissett, who looks pretty good, by the way. And if they got to go back and forth with a pretty good Tampa offense, regardless of Baker Mayfield plays or not, I can see Brissett throwing a lot, and Michael Wilson remains very fantasy viable as long as they keep going with this. I loved what I've seen, honestly. There's a real scenario where the end of the year, we're looking back going, yeah, Michael Wilson is the number 1 receiver on this team.
Wow. Okay. How important is it, if he's still available right now, to go out and pick up Saints running back Devin Neal?
Yeah, this is the fantasy pickup of the week right here for sure. So to this point, it's been a brutal season for Kamara. He's been bad. He has 1 touchdown. We're heading into week 13. Alvin Kamara's played every game. He has scored 1 time. He's averaging a career worst 3.5 yards per carry. He has not hit 100 yards in a single game. And now he's got the MCL injury. Did not practice today. I don't believe he's going to play this weekend. May not play past that. And even if he's available, Devin Neal might be your new starter. After Alvin Kamara went out last week, Neal played 90% of the snaps. And Neal, who was a very accomplished receiver at Kansas, he was basically their whole offense. He had 7 targets last week, and he only came in the second quarter. He had 7 targets in this game. Alvin Kamara hadn't had 7 targets in 22 weeks of NFL play.
Wow.
So they were very willing to throw the ball to Devin Neal. And he's super slippery. He broke 4 tackles last week. That's a great number. Saints have the easiest remaining schedule against the run in the entire league, and it starts this Sunday against Miami. So it's Devin Neal against the Dolphins. Miami is bottom 10 in running back receptions allowed, running back receiving yards allowed, rushing yards allowed, and yards per carry. He is poised. Devin Neal's poised to have the best game of any Saints runner this year, including Alvin Kamara, and it could start right here. I like this spot for him.
Okay, a lot going on in the 49er game. What do you want to advise with Cleveland players with Sanders in, and the year that McCaffrey's having, that you can't have faith in Purdy with the interceptions or throw anything down the field? McCaffrey had 24 carries, and he also had 7 receptions in the Monday night game.
I don't know what they're doing with McCaffrey. I'll be honest. I mean, McCaffrey's obviously great. He's the poster boy for soft tissue injuries, and they are absolutely running him into the ground. I mean, the 49ers want to believe that they're playoff bound. And I look, who am I to say that they should use him less, but I think they should use him less and try to conserve what they've got going with him, because it is what they're doing. They're playing a dangerous game with his health. And Brian Robinson's a nice back, but he's no Christian McCaffrey. That is for sure. So yeah, in this game, Brock Purdy's obviously lost a lot of confidence from a lot of different people. Had the terrible first half last year and just sort of, managed his way through the second half of last week's game. Then you've got a Browns defense that's extremely good against the run. And this could be a problem for Christian McCaffrey, potentially. Almost no runners have success against the Browns. Teams tend to go to the pass more often. But again, how comfortable you are throwing the ball with Brock Purdy. The other storyline that isn't talked about enough, I think, if you ask me about the 49ers passing attack, and there's been plenty of things to nitpick about, but one of them that we were waiting for all the injuries to come back for the 49ers and for players to return, that's starting to happen. The guy that's not helping us at all is Ricky Pearsall.
Yep.
I mean, Pearsall's been back and doing virtually nothing. They needed a lot more play out of him than they've been getting. And, maybe that time is going to come, but yeah. You saw what happened to Juwan Jennings in that game, right?
We did.
Yes.
Yeah. something that...
What's worse?
Oh, no, here we go.
What's worse? Getting spit on by Jamar Chase or getting punched in the junk like Juwan Jennings had to endure.
Man. Not close. The latter. Can't do that. It was an uppercut, too.
It's way worse.
The guy uppercut he got.
It was.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely. You see, Jennings got lifted off the ground from that punch.
Yeah.
Lifted off the ground.
I think spitting in another man's face is basically the lowest form of human life, though, and there's maybe nothing more insulting. Although getting punched there certainly hurts worse.
It hurts worse, but who looks worse at the end of that? I mean, I don't know. I think, you look like the grade A ass.
Yeah, no, you're right.
For doling out that punishment.
More with Charge coming up next. He loves a prop tomorrow. Find out what it is next.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is available exclusively to VSiN Pro subscribers. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Check out Stormy and JVT on Money Moves, only on VSiN.
And maybe that's why they wouldn't, because they're the Giants and they don't do things that make sense.
Out of all these divisions, this is the one that I am the most curious about because I do think there are positive signs for the Bears.
They'll take you on a fun, fast-paced journey, weaving in everything you need to know to make an educated bet, while also not shying away from the excitement of a same-game parlay sweat. Money Moves, weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue with Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian as he is on the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on X at his name, at Paul Charchian. Okay, so your favorite prop comes in the middle game tomorrow. Chiefs on the road, 3.5 point favorites at the Cowboys. Now, the number here at most spots has moved a little bit. Tell us who it is and if you would still bet it right now.
It's Kareem Hunt. Under 38.5 rushing yards is findable. I found that at Hard Rock. You'll need to shop your prop a little bit. It's as low as 33.5 rushing yards. But either way, I'd prefer to have 38. But either way, bettable. And I'll make my case here. So Kareem Hunt has been a kind of a workhorse, including 30 carries last week. But Isaiah Pacheco coming back and confirmed today, he is going to be basically the lead back here. So when we look back at Kansas City's timeshare when the two were healthy, Pacheco and Hunt, through 7 weeks, Pacheco was getting 47% of the workload. Hunt was getting 35% of the workload, and then others were getting the remainder. When Pacheco was healthy, Hunt topped this number, 38.5, one time in 7 games. Once. That's it. The Dallas run massively improved the run defense with Quinnen Williams. 2 games with Quinnen Williams. Saquon Barkley against the Cowboys had 22 rushing yards, and Ashton Jeanty had 7. Asking the second Chiefs running back to be demonstrably better than Barkley and Jeanty is a big ask. And the last thing I'll mention that I think cements the 38.5 yard under. Hunt has the league's second worst explosive play rate among starting running backs. He's gained over 15 yards on a run just 2 times all year. So you don't have to worry about him breaking a long run and inadvertently stumbling his way into the over because he doesn't do that. So roll that together. We're taking the Kareem Hunt under in that middle game.
Beautiful. Great breakdown, my friend. Excellent. How about another running back? And this is one you can find 30-1 for most rushing yards in the late game with Mitchell. It gets Cincinnati's second worst rush defense. It's a blowout. He rips one off. But what's the angle you want to attack Mitchell?
Well, I'm just going to take the easy money and take the over 19 rushing yards for Keaton Mitchell, but everything you said is still true. Ravens 7-point favorites. It could be a one-sided affair. Easy to envision Baltimore staking a big lead, running. You could just play Derrick Henry because pretty much everything I'm going to say is also good for Henry. Numbers are sitting pretty big, 88 yards, 18 carries if you wanted to go over those, but Keaton Mitchell's only got to get to 19.5. Mm-hmm. Bengals seeing the 8th highest rushing play percentage. Keaton Mitchell's topped 19.5 rushing yards twice in the last 3 games. But most importantly, it's just about a terrible Cincinnati run defense. 30th in run defense EPA, 30th in run defense success rate, 31st in rushing yards allowed, 29th in yards per carry allowed, 30th in yards before contact allowed. And here's your clincher for Keaton Mitchell. Number 2 runners have topped 19.5 yards against the Bengals 8 of the last 10 games.
Beautiful.
8 of 10. If I got an 80% make rate on this, I love it. Keaton Mitchell's really good. He's averaging almost 6 yards per carry. At 6 yards per carry, I only need him to touch the ball 3 or 4 times, and we're catching the over on this, let alone what Paulie was just suggesting. You know, if this thing goes into blowout mode and they decide to give Keaton Mitchell a long run, who knows? I mean, maybe he does actually end up topping Henry on this. It's not impossible.
Well, I love the analysis. In that same game, what are your expectations for Joe Burrow first game back in 2 months?
I'm not very optimistic about Burrow, honestly, here. So no T. Higgins, which is certainly a factor. Jamar Chase, you could just pelt him with targets all day, and that's fine too. And I can understand maybe doing that. But here's what we need to look at Baltimore's defense across the whole year. You're going to get a very skewed understanding of where the Ravens are. Their entire secondary was injured for the first 5 weeks of the season. Then week 6, they start getting healthy. The Ravens have given up 3 passing downs since week 6. 3. That's it. There's some bad quarterbacking mixed in there, including J.J. McCarthy, but still, that's awfully impressive. And since going all the way back to week 5, they're giving up just 218 passing yards per game. Burrow's not for anything, so we don't have to even think about that. He's got 11 games of rust to knock off him. I'm nervous about Burrow in this one and feel like this is just one where he reacclimates the NFL. Might have to pass a lot to keep up, but even then, I don't know if it's going to be quality volume for Joe.
Okay, he's buffering a little bit. We'll get back with him in a second, but great breakdown as always. And there's a lot of different ways to attack these props as well, and what's going to transpire in these games. with the wide receiver angle in Green Bay, Watson's up to the high 50s now with his yards.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Watson has a big game, what I said earlier, with what Detroit allows with fantasy points to wide receivers, and especially what happened last week. You couldn't slow down Winston, and Robinson torched him. So if I see the deep ball and the success that the Giants had, what do you think Love and the Packers are going to do early on? Remember what happened 2 years ago? Threw all over him in his coming out party, and how good Love was in that Thanksgiving Day game.
Is Jordan Love better than Jameis Winston?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer.
You don't know the answer? Wow.
I don't know. I don't know.
You're that low on the guy. Oh, man.
Yeah, I really am. It's boneheaded play after boneheaded play.
Well,
I don't love LaFleur as a head coach either. Okay, great breakdown there. We're talking about this Lions-Packers game, and now we have Paul Charchian back on the Progressive guest line. So Paul just said super high on Watson, but he's been high on Watson since he's been playing this year for the Packers. What is your angle/approach with him against Detroit tomorrow?
So last week we tried Christian Watson over 23 yards for longest reception, and we came up 1 yard short. He had a 22-yarder. So we're going back to the well, but we got to get even higher here. 5.5 yard longest reception for Christian Watson. I'll try to make my case. As a reminder from last week, Watson is a deep ball specialist. He averages the second longest distance of target. His average target is 20 yards downfield. That's not including anything he runs with the ball afterwards. Over the last 5 weeks, on passes of 20 or more yards, the Lions, Christian Watson's opponent here tomorrow, they've allowed the most yards to receivers on passes of over 20 yards, the second most receptions of passes over 20 yards, and the sixth highest completion percentage on passes over 20 yards. Part of it's been injury related. Terrion Arnold's been hurt. Kirby Joseph has been hurt. Their status is still a little bit unclear here, but the other issue for Detroit, their pass rush is just okay, even with Aiden Hutchinson.
Right.
The Lions rank 28th in pass rush win rate. They're 15th in quarterback pressures. Now, here's where I'm going to get nerdy with you guys. Amik Robertson is the cornerback for the Lions. Last week, Jameis Winston and the Giants threw 12 times at Amik Robertson. I can't tell you how unusual this is for any one cornerback to pick up 12 targets in their coverage. Very unusual. 6 of the 12 were on deep passes of at least 20 yards to Amik Robertson. I'm going to detail all 6 of those targets on Amik Robertson, 20 or more yards. It was a 39-yard gain, a 30-yard gain, a 24-yard gain, an incompletion, a 40-yard gain, and a 39-yard gain with a touchdown. Amik Robertson is slated, he plays on the outside like Christian Watson. He is slated to see a lot of Christian Watson in this game. I love this individual matchup. This is my nerdiest breakdown of you guys all year, but this is how Christian Watson goes over 25.5 yards for longest reception. What do you think?
Beautiful.
Oh, my God. I couldn't love it anymore.
A+, my friend. A+. So good. How about the Detroit angle? Williams didn't have a catch last week after he went off 3 games in a row. And also what happens with Goff? Less than 2 minutes.
All right. So for Williams, catch game, touchdown, 0 catch game. Super frustrating. Now, working in his favor is the fact that there's Laporta, no Brock Wright, Isaac Tesla's hurt, and Khalif Raymond's already been ruled out.
Right.
So, I mean, all of that suggests that there would at least be targets coming his way. The problem is Green Bay is a really, really good secondary, and they're particularly good on deep passes. They have the second lowest completion rate on deep balls, and that is Jameis Winston's game, is those deep passes. I would avoid here if you can, but if I had to pick one or the other, I would go dud game here just because the Packers don't get beat deep, and that's such a big part of Williams' game.
The Lions injury report tomorrow is so long, and if a lot of those guys are going to be compromised or they don't play, I mean, I think as of right now, if that holds up, I got to bet the Packers in this game.
I think the Packers are going to win with ease. Honestly, Detroit is a mess right now. This offense is not good. John Morton's on his last year as offensive coordinator. I don't think he's going to make it to next season.
You should take.
I don't see him from the Lions.
Charge, you should take a flyer on Lions to miss the playoffs.
Oh, Yeah, I like that.
All right, buddy.
That's capable. That is capable. I mean, have a great holiday,
you too,
guys. Love you. Very thankful that we get to do this every year, and we'll talk to you next week.
Mutual.
Right. Say hi to Uncle Gary. I don't mind Green Bay 7-1 again, most points. I think they eat. Our Black Friday specials live, $60, full VSiN Pro access. Everything we offer through May 1st. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The betting splits, DK, Circa, and Bracco. The AI-powered prop tools, the dog videos, coverage through May. Come on, let's go. And every betting guide. VSiN.com/subscribe doesn't get better than this. VSiN.com/subscribe. Perfect gift.
The great Sal Palantonio up next. Also, Philadelphia, key injuries there.